Hey heroes, welcome back. Sir Matt and Sir Ezra here, guys. And this is the week. This is it. This is Wheel of Time week as we are finally here, my friend. How does it feel?
It feels freaking great, man. It is so wild. I saw we've got you know what? The Wheel of Time, like the people whoever's running sort of their marketing and social media and fan interaction, they're doing a great job because we've got actual YouTubers and like content creators who are going to the premiere and going to be there at it and see it's just freaking awesome. I'm having such a good time.
Unfortunately, we're not part of that group. I mean,
Right. Yeah,
I
we're
mean, what do
not.
we got to do? Are we
But
dark? Are we labeled as dark friends? Do you think they have
I
like a list?
I think they do, and I think we are, and that's
Is it
okay.
is it, is it because I called Rafe out for getting his light taken out
I literally
on
think he
Survivor?
actually probably watched one of our videos and said, "This guy right here,
He's
I
out.
swear he's out. Never promote." No, I'm kidding. I don't know. They all seem like such nice people, and it seems like it's just really cool. There's really good content creators out there making awesome stuff, and I can't wait to see just to kind of read up on some of the leak. Well, we're talking leaks today, by the way. So
A little bit. So this was on Twitter. Excuse me. This was on Reddit. But these are like legit. Like, I mean, these are not like the ones we had posted before. That looked like somebody had taken it was like somebody took a photo of a screen that had it on. This is on Reddit. It's on the Wheel of Time subreddit, and these are like legit sort of production photos here, but we're just going to kind of talk about them because it doesn't really show anything sort of really specifically new. um a lot of it's actually just a lot of it's stuff we saw in the trailers and all that stuff, but really the only thing to me is it seems like perhaps we now have a little bit of some of the timeline in which some of the events are going to be sort of taking place. So the big one here is so episode 1 is described we have here is going to be Moraine and Padan's Fane arrival, Winter Night, and then the departure. Episode 2 is going to be the Shadow Logoth split up and then possibly the Wolves, and then episode 3 is going to be the Tinkers. Matt and Rand meet Tom and Loghain. And so to me, as the sort of biggest thing here that I think we'll kind of talk about is we've been talking a little bit about the timeline and how things are going to go. And now after sort of seeing somebody say that and looking at all of the footage we've seen so far, I think I'm actually going to have to pretty much agree with that because for me, in the books, one of the big deal is that Tom Maryland is with them. He goes with them, and then they end up splitting up. So now it seems to me like Matt and Rand, after the split up after Shadow Logoth, that's when they're gonna meet Tom Maryland. And so that's definitely kind of a change.
yeah, for sure. And what's interesting about that is who's going to tell the boys or who's going to set up the idea that can we trust the Aes Sedai? Or maybe we're not. It seems like they're revered and maybe more trusted than we had originally in the book series. Like they're in power and they're wielding the one power because Tom Maryland flat out has a grudge against them and is someone who kind of keeps an eye on the kids and the children to make sure that they're not being used in some Aes Sedai plot, if you will. So if he's not there in the beginning, they get well into it, and then you can see how he would be a little suspicious. I just wonder if he's going to bring that line to them, or is he just going to have maybe a bond with them? Does he fight the Fade? Does he still fight the Fade, or does he? That I think will be kind of interesting to see. Because why would he? I mean, let's just help them get away, or does he fight the Fade to help all three of them get away? And he doesn't die; he just carries on with them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely interesting looking at this because we're still sort of on the same timetable and everything that we sort of thought, right? Episode 1, the Trolloc attack happens, and then we end up having to leave. Episode 2, Shadow Logoth, and then the split up. So episode 3, we're with the Tinkers, and then I think by this point, I think we will begin to see some of the I guess I got to think about this a little bit. So some of the sort of storylines that are going to be going on, because I think episode 1, we know this is where Nynaeve pushes Egwene into the river. They do the sort of ceremony, so that's going to be going on. But I think by the end of it, the Trollocs have attacked, and then okay, we need to leave, right?
Mhm.
So episode 1's going to be pretty jam packed. I feel like the pacing is going to be pretty heavily paced. Then there's sort of the Logain storyline. So I think we're going to be seeing some of the, the Red Aja that we've seen in the trailer and stuff like that, hunting down Logain. And I think they're going to get to him episode 3 is what it seems like, which I think is actually a really good place to leave this initial weekend. Right.
Yeah.
Because we're getting
Yeah.
3 episodes at once on Prime. And then it's going to be one a week after that. So I think everyone's going to be pretty hooked after weekend one.
I think so, Matt. Okay. So again, we're not showing the images, but let me just tell you,
A lot of them
beautiful.
are the same. A lot of the same, and I don't want to get flagged for. Sometimes they've been pretty hit or miss with like copyright flagging stuff, and sometimes they'll take your videos down and stuff like that. So because I haven't seen these on like the Wheel of Time Twitter, I don't want to show them, but it's mostly the same stuff.
Well, some of them are from so what they've compiled is some shots from the teasers, and some have been from posters and whatnot. But there's a few that look like they are maybe leaked. And the thing is, though, it looks epic. That looks like they're doing a lot of stuff where they shot some stuff on like a cliff and different things. There's just really good landscape shots or whatever, and they went to really cool locations. So it's looking real. It's looking real good, actually, and it's exciting. So as you said, back to the timeline, I think you're right. We'll probably see some of that Logain stuff going on, and something maybe big happen with him in episode 3, which, yeah, because we've got Moiraine tracking down the White Cloaks, who looks like Perrin and Egwene get captured by, and then she'll come across a couple of different interesting things that we saw in the trailer. We saw in the trailer that a Yellow Sister was being burned. Valda was the White Cloak there with the goblet, and we could see a Yellow Sister being burned. And it looks like Moiraine, is going to be tracking, because we know in the book she does that, man. She tracks them down. She tries to go and free them. So will we see that same thing? Or will it be Perrin and Egwene getting themselves out? Aram, is he going to show up with a sword? I don't, who knows?
Yeah. So I guess maybe, we know the White Cloaks are gonna. We saw in the trailer the White Cloak burns that sort of Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Right. And then in one of the photos we see Moiraine sort of standing there over what looks like some burnt ground, and then her face looks like pretty.
Like,
she looks like she's almost been crying, right?
Yeah.
And so it could also be because now the boys are split up and things are really jacked up. So that puts us in that, like in that moment, which we knew we're going to get to. And then who we don't see is Nynaeve. So remember, Nynaeve is probably, again, she meets up with them later in the books. She comes back and meets up with them later, which I think it does look like that's happening, because we had talked about the possibility of her not getting split up before, because she's so heavily featured in the trailers.
Yeah.
So it does to me look like that is still going to happen. So really, though, honestly, after a lot of this stuff happens, they're probably going to meet back up. I would say we have one more episode with episode 4 being it's like running from Dark Friends and all that kind of stuff. And then you could fill out some more of like the stuff. Maybe this is when Moiraine returns to the tower. And then we know, I think we saw something of them all sort of hugging each other and meeting back up at the tower. So I'm thinking that's maybe episode 5, which means the end of Eye of the World is probably episode 6, and then we do get into a little bit of Great Hunt territory, episode 7 and 8, which is kind of what we talked about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, something cool too that we're noticing. I mean, Nynaeve, just a quick mention here. All those photos, as you look for, there's Nynaeve is missing in a lot of them, meaning that she probably stays back in the Two Rivers, and will chase after them later. Comes after them later for some reason,
which is what happens in the books. Well, she chases after them, but she doesn't catch up with them until later in the books.
Right, exactly, and until Caemlyn.
A little bit in exactly same thing, yeah.
Yeah, or Barillon, excuse me. So I guess I wonder if because there's a part where Lan and her, it looks like they're running around with Logain and a battle is happening, and so all of that is going to be fascinating to see how they move pieces around and what we're gonna, the sequence of events, man. I just think it's kind of
So so to me the Waygate's probably got to be episode 5, because that's like, remember, that's like a big focus, right? They keep showing all the stuff. So I think you go through the Waygate episode 5, you finish the Eye of the World in episode 6, and then where do we get to in the Great Hunt for episode 8?
I just think I've always thought that
we've seen like, are they doing, that final place they've been filming, is that Tyr? Are we
Yeah, no, like they've got Fal Dara. We saw that
right.
For sure.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Tarwin's Gap is there. So I wonder if like we go do that, we go to the Eye of the World, we do all those things. If we come back and almost like we feel like we're good again, you know how it happens, right? Podon Fane is sneaking around, following us. This guy we saw in the beginning, but boom, he shows up here at the end and steals the horn. They thought they had a whole bunch of cool stuff, magical objects, a really important one, the Horn of Valere. God, that's got to be mentioned, right? I mean, like, you don't win the last battle unless you've got the Horn of Valere, Matt. So
yeah,
that's a big item they have to get, and it's one of those things that it's promotional and it would be cool to see and everything. So do they get that in season 1, and then is it taken from them before season 1 is over? I don't know if we go that far or not, but it'd be cool if we did.
See, I almost feel like the Heroes of the Horn could be the end of season 2, and they just do it somewhere different.
Sure.
Because it's such a sort of a big moment. It just may have to happen somewhere other.
Yeah, I'm just talking about stealing the horn.
I gotcha. Yeah, I think we could see it. I don't know that the horn will get stolen. I don't know.
Because they find the horn at the Eye of the World.
Yes, they do.
So, like, do we? So, what my question is, do you think we'll see the horn in season 1? If we're going to the Eye of the World, like, you know,
it'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy, right? And then if it's stolen by Podon Fane, who shows up later and is interrogated and stuff, that would be crazy too if he steals.
Which is what we'd said. That's actually how we'd said it. You and I very early on when we were doing our timeline, we were like, I think this is where it's ending, and everyone's like, that's not the case. Everyone said we were wrong. Everyone's like, no, I think we might be. But we could be, but we kept saying that. We said, I think they're gonna get through Eye of the World and about maybe like 20% into the Great Hunt, and I still kind of think that. I think that's what we'd said, is that the Horn of Valere gets stolen at the end, and then okay, that sets us up. Maybe the Horn of Valere gets stolen at the end of season 1, or at the beginning of season 2. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know,
because I almost feel like, man, some of the stuff you do in the Great Hunt, I feel like you could honestly, is this gonna sound weird, but I feel like you could mix some of the stuff that happens in the Dragon Reborn with like Rand being on his own. I feel like season 2, maybe like you do mix some of that up, but Rand's like hunting for the horn by himself.
Yeah, you could do that for sure. Yeah, because it's just a big search, right? Yeah. I kind of almost want to take, I don't know. I think if you have these locations, Matt, if you've got, like, it's confirmed, the 2 rivers, we've got Shadar Logoth, we've got Tar Valon, and then Fal Dara, something big has to happen at those different spots, those locations. So what are your big takeaways from those spots? I kind of feel like it's something more at Fal Dara would be them going back and taking Podon Fane into custody, the Trollocs attacking and freeing people, a Fade being there. Someone tries to shoot the Amyrlin seat. Maybe that doesn't happen. Who knows? But yeah, horn stolen. Big cliffhanger. What do we do? That was the horn. That was the big item that would maybe bring heroes back to kind of fight. Although the other big one is just that Rand can channel, and that he's the dragon.
So let me look this up. I think one of the things, Wheel of Time episode titles. I think, remember how we had those episode titles? I think one of them, I don't know. Was one of them incorrect?
Incorrect.
So okay. So this is interesting. This was the name of the series. Now that's settled. So one of the things that was one of the things people were commenting on is that perhaps the name saidin, saidar weren't going to be used. Like we wouldn't use those names. It would
Mhm.
just be like the one power.
Yep.
But we do see it in there's a new promotional video showing off a bunch of the other stuff that's coming, right?
Okay.
Like
Mhm.
we're getting these lore videos, kind of like we have in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Remember there's like those really cool lore videos where it's like the cast and characters talking about it. And we're getting this to sort of explain things, but somebody freeze framed that at 38 seconds, and they're talking about the Amazon X-ray feature, which is kind of cool. If you watch something on Prime, there's like this X-ray feature, and you can kind of like click on it, and it kind of brings up this little like search thing, and it shows you like who some of the cast and characters are. It's kind of cool. But it shows in this it says episode
It
4,
does.
Sidar Stone.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, are they saying that's the name of episode 4? Or are they saying that is the name of the extra feature?
I think it's the extra feature because episode 3, right? It's got the greatest warder. Episode 2 is the fall of Manetheren. Episode 1 is the breaking of the world.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so episode 4 is still called The Dragon Reborn, as long as we know of the episode.
Yeah.
The actual episode 4 is The Dragon Reborn, which to me, that's going to be the following week's episode. I think that's pretty low gain heavy, actually.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And they're going to sort of tease this idea that it's low gain.
Right. That it's low gain and not Rand or Egwene. Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think I'll wait to ask. Actually, I'll ask you another question here in another video about something I just thought about. But I think it is pretty cool, that little feature that they have where you can see sort of the histories and stuff. If you guys get a chance, it's on their Twitter. It's on the Wheel of Time Twitter page, and it is pretty cool. They've shown some histories. So before you start, it's everything you kind of need to know about the history and the lore and the setup here, which is interesting because we did have a rumor that there was going to be like an Age of Legends prequel, and they're basically saying, we're handling that with animation. So there we
Which
go.
I'm fine with.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Cool.
fine with that.
I think that's cool, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. Gosh, it's so much. Yeah, exactly. Right here, Prime Video. It was released on November 12th. And again, it sort of shows the stuff here. They've also been releasing some of the soundtrack. You can go listen. You can go listen to the sound. And man, the soundtrack, it sounds epic and grand, and unique is really the only way I can sort of describe it. Which is great. I feel like they are really going all out on creating this new sort of unique world. Like the soundtrack, there's a lot going on in it.
Yeah. Yeah, they also have, just as what we're talking about, different things that are coming out. Rosamund Pike is doing the audiobook for Eye of the World. So they're redoing that with her, which is released on the 16th, 2 days from now. You're going to be able to get that. Wild.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's pretty cool. Have you listened to any of the music, by the way?
No, I think I heard just like a quick snippet of it as I was scrolling through Twitter and didn't realize it. And but no, not really listened to it much.
Well, here I'm gonna send it to you while we're sort of discussing here. Boom.
Okay.
You listen to that. Yeah. So there's a handful. So and there's a lot of singing actually in it, which is cool. And so they're creating this sort of unique tongue, right? That they're gonna be doing. So it seems huge, man. It just seems which is great. Just cool. We're like less than a week away.
What?
You listen to the music for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Is this really from the
It's official Wheel of Time music? Yes, it is.
Please Enjoy, they said. Wow. Okay, this is my first time really hearing all of this. This is the old tongue. Matt, this is fantastic.
We do not have yet what the official, they released about 3 songs. We do not have the official like Wheel of Time theme yet.
Wow. That is like 6 minutes, man.
It is.
That is interesting. Very interesting.
People are saying it's got this sort of classic Indian inspiration to it. Is where they're going.
Yeah, it's different. That's different than
It
what
is very unique. It is not this like huge sweeping orchestral. There's like some modernness to it.
Yeah, there's some modern stuff, and
Like you can
but
hear
yeah, it
like
also
digital.
sounds
You can hear
old.
like some digital effects and stuff.
Yeah, that's strange. That is strange. It's got energy though. That it would be. I think about some energy, some energetic music. I think they're gonna be able if it's carries something like that would be cool. I don't know. I have to see it with that's a wait and see for me because it by itself it's interesting, but I'm trying to figure out where that's gonna be where that would fit in. I don't know.
I know.
So
Anyway, so awesome.
cool.
All right, guys. Well, hey, that's just us rambling a little bit here about just some of the cool stuff that's coming. I mean, this is it. This is the week. There's all sorts of new production material and everything. So it's awesome. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah. Hey, friends, if you stop by here, please hit that subscribe button for us because we're trying to push ourselves just right over the threshold here for 1,000. Please hit that like button as well. Leave us a comment. Let us know down below what you thought about all of the timeline. How do you think it's gonna be paced out? And then what do you guys think about some of the music? I just literally you saw my reaction to the music, and then some of the other things we have going on here for Wheel of Time. We'll be back with more videos throughout the week. So with that, friends, remember that the grave is no bar to our call.